We're diving into a story about Moses.
Moses.
Yeah, but hold on. It's not about parting the Red Sea or anything like that.
Okay.
This is Moses post-10 Commandments. Like, you'd think he'd be done with the whole learning from a higher power thing, right?
You'd think so.
But it turns out even Moses was still like, wait, I need more guidance.
Really? Wow. That's kind of humbling.
Right. Like, this story really flips the script on who we think of as the ultimate teacher. It reminds us that everyone's still learning, no matter how wise they seem.
I like that. So where do we find this story? What are we diving into?
It's actually this parable passed down through generations, and it starts with Moses feeling this kind of, I don't know, this itch. He knows there's more to learn, deeper truths out there.
I get that. So what does he do?
He hears about this mysterious servant. People are saying this guy has knowledge like no other.
Okay.
And Moses, he's immediately like, I gotta find this guy.
He doesn't mess around.
Nope. He even tells his own servant, we are not stopping, even if it takes us years.
Years.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Seriously. But that's how driven Moses was. He understood that those 10 commandments, those weren't the finish line. They were just the beginning.
I see. He was ready for that next level.
Exactly. And finally, they find this teacher. But there's always a but, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the teacher, he gives Moses this warning right off the bat. He's like, look, what I teach, how I teach, you might not have the stomach for it.
That's intense.
Right. Almost like he knew how much it was going to mess with Moses's head.
A test right from the start.
Oh, yeah. But Moses, confident guy that he was, he's like, bring it on. I can handle anything. Famous last words? Maybe.
So what happens? How does this test begin?
Picture this. They're traveling, right? And out of nowhere, this teacher, he just punches a hole in a boat.
You what? Why?
And not just any boat, a perfectly good boat that belonged to people who clearly needed it.
I bet Moses was speechless.
You think? I mean, can you imagine? First thought's got to be, what in the world are you doing? But here's the thing. The teacher, totally calm, just reminds Moses about being patient.
Oh, man. So frustrating, right? Like, yeah, patience is a virtue and all, but we're talking about a hole in a boat here.
Exactly. And the worst part, no explanation, just this giant question mark hanging in the air.
So what happens next? Does Moses demand an explanation?
He wants to, you can tell. But there's also this sense that he knows something bigger is going on.
Interesting. It's like that silence, the lack of explanation, forces you to confront the unknown.
And trust me, things are about to get even more unknown, so they keep going, right? And just when you think it can't get any weirder...
It gets weirder.
Oh, yeah. They come across this young boy.
Okay.
And I'm not exaggerating, this is where it gets really intense. The teacher, without a word, takes the boy's life.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that damaged boat suddenly feels a little less...
significant.
Exactly. It's like you can kind of rationalize property damage, maybe tell yourself it'll all work out in the end, but taking a life, a child's life at that, it's a whole other level.
It's like that question of morality just slams right into you. Like, is there any situation where this could be justified?
Right. And you can feel that Moses is wrestling with that exact question. This isn't just confusion anymore, it's outrage. He straight up asks the teacher, how could you do that?
But does the teacher explain himself?
Nope. Same as before, just that steady, have patience.
At this point, I think I'd be questioning more than just patience. Like, my whole belief system would be rattled.
Right. It's like his whole understanding of this teacher, of right and wrong, it's all being challenged. Can he still trust this guy? Trust that there's a reason for all this that he just can't see yet?
And the thing is, they don't just stop there. They keep traveling.
Oh, man. So what happens next?
Well, they end up in this town, exhausted, hungry.
We got to eat something after all that.
Right. But get this. The townspeople turn them away.
No way.
Yeah. No food, no shelter, nothing.
So they're tired, hungry, and now getting rejected. Talk about adding insult to injury.
Exactly. I don't know about you, but I'll be done with this patience thing.
For sure. Like, give me a break already.
But then, and this is the really perplexing part, the teacher sees this wall. It's about to collapse. And what does he do? He repairs it. For free.
What? After all that, that's what he chooses to do.
I know. It makes zero sense. Like, you've just been through this emotionally draining day. People are rude to you. And you decide, you know what this town needs, a free contractor. It's just mind-boggling.
How does Moses react?
He finally snaps. Says, enough. I'm done. I can't keep doing this without any explanation. I need to understand.
And that's when the teacher finally reveals everything.
You know it, but only because Moses walks away.
Wow. So spill it. What about that boat?
Okay, so remember how he punched a hole in it?
Yeah.
Turns out there was this king who was going around seizing every ship in the area.
Okay.
That whole made the boat worthless to the king. The owners were actually lucky the teacher did that.
Wow. Who would have guessed?
Yeah.
But what about the boy? I mean, how do you explain that?
All right, so this is where things get really deep. The teacher says the boy was destined for a really, really hard life.
A hard life.
Yeah, like full of darkness, causing a lot of pain.
So his death, it was preventing something worse.
That's what the teacher says, that it spared not just the boy, but his parents years of suffering. And get this, the teacher says because of this, they were able to have another child who grew up to be, like, this amazing person.
Wow. That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about that wall he fixed? Why help people who were so unkind?
Well, it turns out that wall was hiding a treasure.
A treasure. Like buried pirate booty.
Not quite. It was an inheritance that this really good man had left for his kids.
And they were the orphans who lived in the town.
Yep. And the teacher, by fixing the wall, he made sure their inheritance would be safe until they were old enough.
Wow. It's amazing how the whole story changes when you get the full picture. It makes you think, how often do we judge things without knowing all the facts? Just like Moses.
I mean, seriously, it really makes you think twice about jumping to conclusions, doesn't it?
It really does. It's easy to get caught up in the what and the how. But the why is where things get really interesting.
And in real life, we don't always get that why, do we?
We don't. And I think that's what makes this parable so powerful. It's not about having all the answers. It's about acknowledging that sometimes we just don't. And that's okay.
So instead of freaking out when things don't make sense, maybe we should be more like, interesting. Wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly. Approach it with a little more curiosity, a little less judgment. Because who knows, maybe there's a whole chain of events unfolding that we're just not aware of.
It's like that saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but this is more like, don't judge the whole story by the first chapter.
I like that. And, even if we never get to read the whole book, even if some things remain a mystery, there's still value in that, isn't there?
Totally. I mean, sometimes the best stories are the ones that leave you thinking long after they're over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They spark something in you, make you question things, keep searching for deeper meaning.
So this whole idea of needing instant gratification, needing everything explained right away, maybe that's not always the best approach, huh?
Maybe not. Sometimes the most important lessons, the ones that really stick with us, they take time to unfold.
It's like we're so busy looking for the punchline that we miss the joke along the way.
Right. And I think that's what this deep dive really highlights. It's a call for patience, a reminder that sometimes the most profound truths reveal themselves slowly in their own time.
And that maybe, just maybe, that's how it should be. Embrace the mystery. Learn from the journey, even if it means being a little confused sometimes.
Exactly. Because who knows what amazing things we'll discover along the way.
And there you have it. Another deep dive complete. We hope you enjoyed this exploration of ancient wisdom and its surprisingly relevant message for today.
Until next time.